All right, I want to go over some things. This will be up on under the syllabus in the under the section for syllabus in Blackboard, okay? And I'm going to upload the syllabus to that too. I realize I put it under course content for day 2 or week 2. Okay, so these are a couple things we have not yet talked about. Turning in work, you're going to be emailing that to me. You can use the college email or you can use the Gmail. If you are a Google Doc user, Gmail might be easier for you. If you're using Word, please be aware that I'm going to be using the editing function within our email through the 365 Word online stuff. I don't have a great deal of familiarity with using that because I prefer Google Docs, so please let me know if you are actually seeing the comments. I've gotten through some of your response papers. So if anybody who attached a Word doc doesn't and has a response from me doesn't actually see my comments, please let me know immediately. All right, late work. This is a crazy year. It's been a crazy year. The start of the semester, even in the best of times, is difficult for all of us, including myself. So I will always be as flexible as I can be. However, my flexibility has limits because I have my own stuff going on, like multiple jobs and grad school myself. So, what I'd like us to stick to is those Tuesday deadlines. I got a lot of emails about needing a little more flexibility with that this week. That's totally fine. I get it. I really do. But try your best if you miss a Tuesday deadline to get me your work no later than the following Friday. I promise you, anyone who gets me your work on time on that Tuesday, I will give you feedback in addition to a grade. But if you're getting me the work late, even after Tuesday, you may compromise your access to feedback because I just do not have time. So I ask for them on Tuesday because I'm giving myself until the next Tuesday to grade all of those. And if they come in a rolling basis, I may be running out of time and I may not be able to get back to them. I only have certain sections of time in which I can grade every week. So be aware of that. After Friday, if you have an emergency, of course I'm going to be flexible with you. But if you're submitting stuff habitually after that Friday cutoff, which is still late from that Tuesday, you're not going to be getting credit for it because I'm not going to have time to go back and look at it. Okay. So just be aware of that. You may be compromising significant portions of your grade if you are submitting late after that Friday. Okay. So you've got a little bit of wiggle room from Tuesday to Friday. After Friday, no more. All right, the syllabus. This is really important. I'm getting some questions from people about the syllabus, but there's an entire video that I made about the syllabus. So please do not email me those questions. Rewatch the video as many times as you need to get the answers because I do not have time to answer questions I've already answered in videos and in the course content. The other thing you need to know is the syllabus is just an overview of the course, okay? It does have important information. If you need clarification from something I said, it's always a good idea to go back to it. Use it as a map, but it's not your teacher. It isn't the curriculum. The curriculum is in the course content, and I am the teacher, right? So you really need to be looking at videos. You need to be reading the material. You need to be reading your book. You need to be following everything I lay out every day or every Wednesday for our course content. That is like our classroom, okay? You would not expect to get credit if you just read the syllabus and never came to class. You're not going to get credit if you just read the syllabus, send me 1,000 questions that don't make sense about the syllabus when I already answered all those questions and it appears you're not going through the course content. So it is your responsibility to spend the time in this class that you would spend if you were on site as well, okay? The good thing about it is that we can be flexible about when we look at the content, and that's what's great about asynchronous online learning. But I don't want you to think that you can just read the syllabus and know what's happening. You need that course content. And also, do not email me with questions that I've already answered. Please, please, please. I don't have time. I've tried to stay really on top of emails for this first week, these first 2 weeks. But I'm heading into a very busy part of the semester myself, and my ability to respond to questions I've already answered is no longer there. So just know that. Of course, I'm going to answer questions that are new questions. And thank you for all your questions. That's why I'm doing this, because a lot of you have asked really clarifying questions. And I'm like, oh, right, I didn't say that in the syllabus, right? So thank you for that. But moving forward, after this video, if you don't have a new question, go to all the material I'm uploading before you email me, okay? Discussion board. Okay, the discussion board is just part of your participation grade. What it's useful for me is to skim through it on Tuesdays and prepare for what I'm going to say to you on Wednesdays, right? That course content. because it gives me a sense of what you understood about the reading, maybe what was commonly misunderstood about the reading, any questions that have come up that multiple people have that I can address. So it's important. It's a very small portion of your grade because it's part of the participation grade, which is 20%, right? But don't forget, your participation grade also includes these response papers you're working on now, the 1 to 2 pages. So those are worth more than the discussion, because the discussion boards, there's going to be multiple discussion boards, many throughout the semester. The more there are, of course, the more insignificant each single one becomes, right? As far as your percentage of grade of that 20%. So if you have a bad week and you can't get to the discussion board, don't worry. I'd rather get your response paper and make sure you're doing all the reading. So I hope that clears up the discussion board. I'm not super strict about the deadline for it, but go ahead and try to get it done by Tuesday. I mean, do get it done by Tuesday so I can see it. If you get it done earlier, that's even better, because it gives me time to kind of review it as your answers trickle in. I have time to just kind of look over everything. Okay, Wednesday course content updates. Okay, so when I set the deadline for myself for Wednesday for 4 p.m., I was not working a second job, but I did have to get a second job, and it is on site in a school. So it's 8 to 3 every day. So it is not going to be realistic for me to, get all of your essays by 8 in the morning on Tuesdays and grade them all, because I'll be at work. So I'll have to be looking at those Tuesday night. And then I will have to be developing new content on Wednesdays as soon as I get home. So it's not going to be up by 4. So my new cutoff is 7 p.m. Make sure that you are checking on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. for the most updated version of that week's course material, okay? The other thing I'll say about that is, if there's something that I can do earlier, I'm going to try to do that so I'm not spending too much time, and so I can get the course up and running every Wednesday earlier than 7 if possible. But if something seems off, or so there's missing information you think, definitely check after 7, okay? And always you can check early too. I think I'll be spending more time than I anticipated on the weekends building out our course content for things that don't require your responses for me to build. So the way that I work is I get your responses and then we build off of those. So for instance, today we're going to talk about paragraph breaks and structuring a paragraph, as well as how to use semicolons and run-on sentence, and how to correct run-on sentences, because based on the responses I saw so far, that's a need that a lot of people have, right? So I need your responses so that I can develop the course material. However, if there's something that isn't time sensitive to you, or that isn't live, like if it's just a lecture on characterization, I'll try to upload that earlier on, like Sunday, for instance. Okay, the book. So I am very sensitive to the fact that this book is really expensive, and I try to select readings that are both have really diverse authorship, so not just white men writers. So that's really important to me, but it's also been really important to me as I build the syllabus, to make sure that we have access to readings that may not be in the book, access to readings that are in the book but also online, in case someone just really couldn't afford the book and is borrowing one or sharing one, because we've all been there before, right? So the page numbers that are missing from the syllabus are usually the pieces, I think for the most part, I did this intentionally, so unless I made a mistake, they're the pieces you can find online. That's why they don't have page numbers. However, you can also just use your index in your table of contents in your book, your textbook, to find those pieces, okay? If there is a piece we're reading that is not in the book, like with Walter Mitty and The Harvest, I will say that either in a video, or it might say it on your syllabus. The last thing I want to say is, right now, the content stuff in your book, so the chapters about plot, about characterization, about point of view, that the ones I give little lectures on in our course content on Wednesdays, I don't have page numbers next to those either, and that is my mistake. I did mean to put page numbers next to that. So, but it's the same thing. You can use your index. There's only one chapter on plot. There's only one chapter on poetry, figurative language. They call it figurative speech, so on and so forth. Like, you can look at our syllabus, line it up to the language in the book, and then find the thing. In fact, you should get used to doing that. You should know your way around the index page of a textbook, or the table of contents. Okay, I think that's all I have to say for now. I will see you again shortly when I upload other stuff.